The blind date was empty, until little black twin girls said, "My daddy's sorry he's late." "He's not coming, is he?" Naomi whispered the words like a secret she didn't want to believe. The cafe light shimmered against her half-empty mug of tea, the steam long dead, like her hope. Around her, laughter floated from every table. Couples smiled, hands intertwined. But at her table, the other chair stayed empty. 47 p.m., 17 minutes late. Naomi Brooks had promised herself she wouldn't cry over another man. Not again. Not after the last one who said, "You deserve better," and vanished the next day. Now here she was again, sitting in the Willow and Bean Cafe, pretending to scroll her phone so no one could see the embarrassment on her face. Her reflection blinked back at her from the window. Warm brown skin, soft curls tied in a loose bun, a woman who looked like she had it together. But inside, she felt cracked in quiet places no one could see. One coffee date, her friend Tasha had begged. "His name's Andre Walker, architect, kind eyes, no games. Trust me, Naomi. You'll like him." Trust. That word had stopped meaning anything years ago. She sighed, rubbing her thumb against the mug. 5 more minutes, she murmured. "And I'm out." The door chimed. Naomi's head snapped up. Her heart jumped before her mind could stop it, but it wasn't him. Not a man in his 30s, not even close. 2 little girls walked in. Identical twins. Maybe 6 years old. Deep brown skin. Matching red jackets. Their curls bounced with every step, the pink beads in their hair clicking softly as they looked around the cafe with big, serious eyes. They shouldn't have looked that confident. Not for kids their age. But they moved like they knew exactly where they were going, straight toward her. Naomi frowned. Hi, sweethearts. Are you lost?" One of them, the taller one, tilted her head. "Are you Miss Naomi?" Naomi's breath caught. "Yes, who are you?" The smaller twin grinned, showing a missing tooth. "Daddy says he's sorry he's late." Naomi froze. "Your daddy?" Both girls nodded in perfect sync. "Daddy's parking the car," the taller one said. "He said to tell you not to leave." For a second, Naomi couldn't breathe. Her heart, heavy moments ago, suddenly felt light, confused, racing, alive. Who were these girls? Why did they know her name? And, most of all, why did she feel, deep in her chest, that her life had just taken a turn she would never come back from? Because this wasn't just a blind date. It was the beginning of a story that would test everything she believed about love, truth, and second chances. Naomi's heart was racing so hard she could feel it in her throat. The twins had pulled up chairs like it was the most normal thing in the world. Their little pink backpacks hit the floor with twin thuds. One reached for a napkin and started folding it into tiny triangles. The other swung her legs, humming softly to the cafe's background jazz like she owned the place. Naomi stared at them, speechless. Girls, where's your—" The doorbell chimed again. She turned fast, and there he was, tall, broad-shouldered, black coat still damp from the October drizzle outside. Andre Walker. He had a calm face, deep brown skin, and tired but kind eyes that found hers the moment he walked in. And the way those eyes softened, almost apologetic, made Naomi's stomach twist. The twins jumped up at once. "Daddy!" Andre crouched to hug them, smiling with that kind of warmth that looked real, not practiced. "You two couldn't wait, huh?" "Miss Naomi was about to leave," one twin announced, hands on hips. Andre's gaze shot to her, half nervous, half grateful. "I'm so sorry, Miss Brooks. I didn't plan for this little ambush." Naomi blinked, still processing. You sent them in?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "Not exactly. They sort of invited themselves. I was parking and told them to wait in the car. But apparently my daughters don't listen very well." Both girls giggled. "We just didn't want her to think you're a bad guy." Naomi almost laughed, but the confusion still clouded everything. Daughters. She hadn't been told about that. Tasha had mentioned single, not single dad. Andre seemed to notice her silence. His voice dropped, soft but steady. "I should have told you. It's been just me and them for 4 years now. Their mom passed away when they were 2. Her throat tightened. The girls, smiling, innocent, full of life, suddenly looked like something stronger than cute. They were survivors, like him, he continued, eyes low. I was late because I couldn't find the other shoe. Turns out it was on a stuffed giraffe's neck. The twins burst into laughter. Naomi did too. A small, surprised laugh that she hadn't felt in months. Andre smiled at the sound. So, can I still sit down? Or did I blow my first impression completely? Naomi hesitated. Every wall she had built, every piece of armor she'd carried into that cafe, suddenly didn't fit right anymore. She gestured toward the empty chair. You can sit. As he slid into the seat, the twins scooted closer, resting their heads on his arms. It wasn't the date she imagined, but somehow it felt more real than any she'd ever had. And yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more behind his eyes, something he wasn't saying. Because while Naomi saw a kind father trying to start again, Andre Walker was hiding a truth that could either bring them closer or destroy everything before it even began. Naomi couldn't stop watching him, Andre Walker, the man who had kept her waiting nearly 20 minutes, the man who'd sent 2 little girls in pink beads as his messengers. And yet, somehow, she wasn't angry anymore. The twins, Ava and Aria, sat between them, nibbling on muffins they'd convinced the waitress to bring for Daddy's friend. Andre leaned forward, eyes steady on Naomi. I really do owe you an apology. I know being late on a blind date isn't the best first impression. Naomi crossed her arms, pretending not to melt under that calm voice. It's not ideal, she said flatly. But you have cute defenders. Ava giggled, crumbs on her lips. We told Daddy you'd be nice. He didn't believe us. Andre shot his daughters a mock glare. I believe you now. For a moment the tension broke. Naomi smiled. Not a polite smile, a real one. The kind that sneaks out before your brain can stop it. But then, quiet slipped in. That kind of quiet where something heavier hides underneath the laughter. Naomi's eyes studied him closer, the small lines near his eyes, the way his left hand never stopped rubbing his thumb against his ring finger, like muscle memory. So, she said gently, why'd you agree to a blind date? You seem like someone who doesn't do this often, Andre chuckled softly. You're right. I don't. His gaze dropped for a second. It's been 4 years. My daughters wanted me to try again. Aria looked up proudly. We told him he's lonely. Naomi's heart softened, then tightened again, because the way Andre looked at his girls, it was love, deep and quiet. But it was also guilt. He changed the topic too quickly. Tasha said you're a vet? Yeah, Naomi said, smiling again. Animals are easier than people. They don't lie. Something flickered in his eyes. Too fast to catch, but real. He nodded. I get that. For a moment she thought she saw pain there, like he understood that line more than she meant it. But he just smiled again, polite, careful. The twins had started whispering, their voices soft and curious. Naomi caught one word. Mommy. Andre's jaw tensed. His eyes stayed on his coffee. Naomi looked at the girls, then back at him. She didn't ask. Not yet. But something in her gut told her there was more. Much more cute to this man than a missed date and a sad backstory. Something was hidden beneath that calm. Something that scared him enough to bury it deep. Outside, the rain picked up. The cafe lights reflected on the window, soft and gold. Naomi's phone buzzed. A text from Tasha. So? Is he as great as I said? Naomi glanced at Andre. The man with tired eyes, gentle words, and secrets written in the way he avoided them. She typed back 2 words before she could stop herself. I don't know. The rain outside turned heavier, drumming softly against the cafe windows. Inside, the warm yellow lights felt almost too calm for the storm that had begun brewing between 2 people who barely knew each other. Naomi and Andre had talked for nearly an hour, about work, childhood, and how Ava liked to paint on walls when she was supposed to be asleep. But beneath the laughter, Naomi couldn't shake it, the feeling that Andre's words were measured, Safe. Like he was walking a line between honesty and something else. And then his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and his entire face changed. The calm smile vanished. His jaw tightened. His hand shook slightly before he silenced the call. Naomi noticed. "So, not answering?" she asked lightly, sipping her cold tea. Andre forced a smile. "It's work. It can wait." But 10 minutes later, when the twins ran off to the restroom giggling, he picked up the phone again. He didn't see Naomi watching him from behind the half wall near their table. "Yeah," he whispered harshly into the phone, turning his back to the room. "I told you not to call me here." "No, she doesn't know. I'm not telling her tonight." Naomi froze. Her pulse thudded in her ears. "She doesn't know." Andre's voice dropped even lower. "Look, I'm trying to fix this the right way. You promised me time. Just, please don't show up again." He ended the call and rubbed his face with both hands, breathing heavy, like someone carrying too many secrets. Naomi sat still, pretending to scroll her phone when he came back. But she couldn't meet his eyes anymore. "Everything okay?" he asked softly. She smiled, but it wasn't real. "Yeah, just thinking." He nodded, though she could tell he didn't believe her. The twins returned and hopped back into their seats, the air suddenly lighter again as they showed Naomi their matching stickers from the bathroom vending machine. But Naomi's laughter now was hollow, because no matter how kind Andre seemed, she couldn't forget those words. She doesn't know. Who was she? And what didn't Naomi know? As the rain blurred the city lights outside, Naomi realized something that made her chest tighten. This man, this father with the soft smile and grieving eyes, hadn't come into her life by accident. There was a reason Tasha had set them up, a reason he was late, a reason those little girls found her before he did, and she was going to find out what it was, even if it broke her heart in the process. Naomi hadn't planned to see him again. Not after that night, not after the phone call she wasn't supposed to hear. But 2 days later, Andre texted her. "Andre, the girls won't stop asking about you. Dinner at our place? Just spaghetti. No pressure." She almost deleted it. Almost. But something in her chest, curiosity, maybe something softer, told her to go. So that Friday evening, she found herself standing outside a small brick townhouse on Pine Avenue. The porch light flickered. Laughter spilled through the door. When Andre opened it, he looked different, tired but lighter. "You came," he said, smiling. "Only because your daughters are impossible to say no to," Naomi replied, trying to sound casual. Inside, the house felt lived in, not perfect, not staged. Toy cars lined the hallway, crayon drawings covered the fridge, and the smell of garlic and butter filled the air. Ava came running. "Miss Naomi, Daddy made the noodles too long again." Naomi laughed. "Then I guess we'll have to fix them." Dinner was warm, messy, and full of laughter. The twins talked non-stop, about school, cartoons, and how their dad once burned pancakes into something that looked like angry turtles. But when they went to bed, the quiet returned. Naomi leaned against the counter watching Andre rinse dishes. "They adore you," she said softly. He smiled, not looking at her. "They're my whole world," she hesitated. "Andre, can I ask something?" He looked up. "Sure, that call. The other night. Who were you talking to?" He froze, just for a second. "Work," he said quickly. "A client issue. I shouldn't have taken it. The lie came too easily. Too smooth." Naomi nodded, pretending to believe him, but something in her chest twisted. Later, while he tucked the girls into bed, Naomi wandered the living room. Family photos lined the walls. Birthdays, messy ice cream smiles, Andre holding the twins as babies. But one frame caught her attention. It was half hidden behind a plant, a photo of a woman. Beautiful, brown-skinned, big, bright smile. Naomi stepped closer. The woman looked familiar, painfully familiar. Her breath caught. No, it couldn't be. The woman wasn't just Andre's late wife. Naomi knew that face. She'd seen it before, in a framed picture in her veterinary clinic on the desk of her best friend, Tasha. Her heart dropped. It was Tasha's sister, the one who had died in a car accident 4 years ago. Naomi's hands shook as she held the frame. The truth hit her like a wave she couldn't outrun. Tasha hadn't just set her up with a nice single dad. She'd set her up with the widower of her own sister. Andre's voice came from the hallway. "Naomi, you okay?" She turned, forcing her face calm. "Yeah, just looking at your family photos." He nodded, smiling faintly. "That was Maya, the girl's mom. She loved animals, too. Tasha's told me a lot about you since—" He stopped himself, realizing what he'd said. Naomi's heart thudded in her chest. "Since when? Since before tonight? Since before the date?" The air felt heavier. Nothing about this had been random. Not the setup. Not the delay. Not even those little girls walking into that cafe. This had all been planned. And Naomi was finally starting to see why. Naomi didn't sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw that photo. Maya's bright smile, the same soft curls, the same kind of warmth she'd once seen in Tasha. It wasn't just coincidence. It was family. Tasha had known. She had to. By morning, Naomi's mind was a storm. Confusion, anger, a quiet ache she couldn't name. She drove straight to the clinic, hands gripping the wheel so tight her knuckles whitened. Tasha was already there, organizing files at the front desk like it was just another normal day. Naomi didn't bother with hello. "You set me up with your sister's husband?" Tasha froze. The pen in her hand dropped. Her eyes widened. Guilt flashing like lightning before she could hide it. "Naomi, please." "No, don't please me," Naomi snapped, her voice breaking. "You told me he was just a guy you knew. You didn't say his wife was your sister." Tasha exhaled slowly, leaning against the counter. "I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how." Naomi's voice rose. "How about before I sat across from his daughters calling me Miss Naomi?" For a moment, neither spoke. The clinic felt too quiet. Finally, Tasha said softly, "I didn't do this to hurt you. I did it to help him." Naomi blinked, confused. "Help him?" Tasha nodded. "Maya was my sister, yes. But before she died, she made me promise something." Naomi's breath caught. Tasha's voice trembled. "She told me if something ever happened to her, to make sure Andre didn't give up on love. She said he was too good, too kind, to live the rest of his life alone. But after the accident, he shut everyone out, for years." Naomi felt her anger waver, replaced by something heavier. "So you thought setting him up with me would fix that?" Tasha's eyes glistened. "Not just you, Naomi. Maya knew you. She met you once, remember? You treated her dog after that surgery. She liked you. She said, 'If I had a friend like her, I'd trust her with my heart.'" The words hit Naomi like a punch to the chest. She remembered that day. A bright, laughing woman with gentle hands and a warm voice. But still, "Tasha, you should have told me. You should have given me a choice." Tasha wiped a tear. "I know. I was scared you'd say no." Naomi looked away, her throat tight. "And what about him? Does he know you told me about the promise?" Tasha shook her head. "He doesn't. He doesn't even know Maya made me promise. I didn't want to bring the pain back." Naomi sank into a chair. Everything made sense now. The secrets, the tension, the late arrival, even the twins' strange confidence that night. They'd been part of this too, even if they didn't realize it. Tasha stepped closer. "Naomi, I know you're angry, but I've seen how he looks at you. He's smiling again. That hasn't happened in years." Naomi stared at the floor, torn between betrayal and something that scared her even more. The truth that part of her did care. "He deserves to be happy," Tasha whispered. "And maybe. So do you." Naomi didn't answer. She just grabbed her bag and walked out. Because even though she didn't want to admit it, Tasha was right about one thing. Andre had started to matter, and that terrified her more than anything. Rain fell again that night, just like the first time she met him. Only now, Naomi knew too much, and not enough. She sat in her car outside Andre's house, watching the glow of the living room light through the rain-blurred windshield. The twins' shadows danced on the curtains, two small girls chasing each other before bedtime. She told herself she was just there to return the sweater he'd lent her. But deep down, she knew that wasn't true. She needed answers. Andre opened the door before she could knock. His face softened when he saw her. "Naomi, I didn't think—" "I need to talk," she said, her voice low. "About Maya," he froze. The name hit like a punch. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he stepped aside. "Come in." The house was quiet. The twins were asleep upstairs. The air smelled faintly of baby shampoo and lemon cleaner. Warm, real, ordinary. Naomi stood in the center of the living room, clutching her bag. "I saw her photo. And I talked to Tasha," Andre sighed, rubbing his temples. "I should have known she'd tell you." "Tell me what, Andre?" He looked at her. Really looked at her. Like a man standing on the edge of a confession he'd buried too long. The truth. He walked to a small cabinet in the corner and pulled out a worn brown envelope. Inside were photos. Crumpled, faded, stained by time. He handed her one. It showed a silver sedan twisted around a streetlight. Naomi's breath caught. "Maya's accident," he said quietly. "It wasn't just an accident." Naomi looked up, heart pounding. "What do you mean?" He sat down, his voice breaking. "We were arguing that night. She wanted to take the girls to her sister's for the weekend. To cool off. I told her not to drive. It was raining hard. She left anyway." He paused, the memory choking him. "The next call I got was from the hospital. She was gone before I got there." Naomi felt tears sting her eyes. "Oh, Andre." He nodded slowly, staring into nothing. "I blamed myself, still do. The girls were too. I swore I'd never fall in love again. Never risk hurting anyone like that again." Silence filled the room. Heavy, aching. Naomi reached out, her hand trembling slightly, resting on his. "You didn't kill her, Andre. You loved her. She made her choice." He shook his head, tears slipping down his cheeks. "But I was supposed to protect her." "I failed." She squeezed his hand. "You didn't fail. You lived. And those girls, they're your reason. She'd want you to keep living." Andre looked at her then. Really saw her, not just as the woman from the cafe, but as someone who had quietly stepped into the space where grief used to live. "I didn't expect you," he whispered. "Any of this." Naomi smiled faintly, eyes wet. "Neither did I." For a moment it felt like something broke open between them. Not love yet, but the beginning of it. The kind built on truth, pain, and the kind of understanding that doesn't need perfect words. But just as the air softened, Andre's phone buzzed again. The same number as before, the one labeled simply unknown. Naomi glanced at it. Andre went pale. He didn't answer, but the fear in his eyes said everything. Whatever he was hiding, it wasn't over. The phone kept buzzing on the table, lighting up the room in quick flashes. Andre stared at it like it was alive, like it could destroy what little peace he had left. Naomi finally whispered, "Andre, who's been calling you?" He swallowed hard. "I didn't want you to know." "Not yet." He picked up the phone, pressed the speaker button, and set it down. A woman's voice crackled through the line. Calm, soft, familiar. "Mr. Walker, this is Dr. Jennings from St. Clair Hospital. We've completed the request you made last month. The package is ready." Naomi frowned. "Package?" Andre ended the call, exhaling slowly. "It's a letter?" "From Maya." Naomi froze. "From her?" He nodded. "She wrote it a week before she died. I didn't know it existed until her attorney found it in her old files. I asked the hospital to authenticate it. Her handwriting, her voice note, everything." He walked to the cabinet again, pulling out a sealed envelope. Edges yellowed, her name written in soft, flowing cursive, Maya Walker. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a small flash drive. "Do you want to listen with me?" he asked quietly. Naomi nodded. He plugged the flash drive into the small speaker on the counter. After a few clicks, a voice filled the room. Warm, steady, and heartbreakingly familiar. "Hey, babe. If you're hearing this, it means I didn't get the chance to say this in person. Naomi felt her chest tighten. Andre's hands clenched into fists. I know you worry too much. I know you blame yourself for everything. But if something ever happens to me, promise me one thing. Don't stop living. Don't hide behind guilt. The girls need to see you love again. A pause. The sound of a soft breath. And if by some miracle you meet someone who reminds you what it feels like to laugh again, don't push her away. Love her. Let her in. She's not taking my place, Andre. She's helping you find yours again. Andre's eyes glistened. Naomi covered her mouth, tears slipping down her cheeks. The voice faded with one last whisper. Tell my sister I meant every word. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Sacred. Naomi stepped forward slowly, placing a hand on his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, fast, trembling, alive. She knew, Naomi whispered. Maya knew everything. Andre nodded, his voice breaking. All this time I thought I was betraying her by moving on. But she wanted this. Naomi smiled through tears. No, Andre, she wanted you to be free. He exhaled, the weight of 4 years slipping off his shoulders in one quiet breath. He reached for her hand, not rushed, not uncertain, just real. Naomi, he said softly, you walked into that cafe the same night I was going to cancel. I thought love was done for me. But you were the one thing I didn't see coming. She smiled, eyes glimmering. That makes 2 of us. Outside, the rain had stopped. The clouds broke open to a silver moon, washing the street in quiet light. Upstairs, the twins stirred. Ava peeked from the hallway, her sleepy voice breaking the silence. Daddy, Miss Naomi's still here. Andre looked up and smiled. Yeah, sweetheart. She's still here. Naomi laughed softly, wiping her tears. For the first time in years, Andre wasn't haunted by what he'd lost, but grateful for what he'd found. And Naomi, once afraid of love, finally understood something Maya had known all along, that sometimes love isn't about who comes first. It's about who stays when everything falls apart. 6 months later, the same table at Willow and Bean Cafe sat filled again. Andre, Naomi, 2 giggling little girls with hot chocolate mustaches. The waiter smiled. Same order? Naomi grinned. Always. Ava leaned across the table, whispering, Daddy, are you happy now? Andre looked at Naomi, her hand in his, and smiled. Yeah, baby. I am. Outside, the bell above the door chimed again. This time, no one was late. Moral. True love doesn't replace what's lost. It redeems what's broken. Even after tragedy, life always finds a way to bring 2 hearts where they were meant to be.